Sadly, in my life, there was a time where I ran into a certain sect of the Christianity that is called Southern Baptist or Baptist. I'm not sure it was Southern Baptist. It was definitely Baptist. So this is just going to be my story. I'm going to try my hardest to keep a very unbiased opinion on it. I just want to tell you the story. May let you make your own opinion, but this is my one experience I had, and I think it was about a week or two experience with the dealing with the Southern Baptist Church. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to start the story with another story about me that's a little personal and, you know, something I've been hesitant to talk about because I'm afraid that people are going to judge me on a different chord. But at the same time, um, I think everybody makes a judgment when someone says something, and that's how you learn about people. So I shouldn't be afraid of that. Um, so okay, when I was when I was in high school, I started experimenting in mind-altering substances, drugs, and I'm not just saying like pot and pills. I did the hard stuff. I'm not gonna get into detail which ones, but let's just say that it was my way of you know um, understanding myself and controlling myself. I think a lot of people, you know, in their opinion, God helps them control certain urges, the things that separate us from man and human. And in that instance, that was my way of controlling. I had anger issues, I had depression, and drugs was a way for me to cope with that instantaneously, which obviously is not the best way to do it. But you know, I was young. Anyways, so when I was about 18, I was so engrossed in, you know, drug abuse that I became desperate, homeless, and I was searching for a way to correct it. And out here in Arizona, we have what are called I know they're called LARC and evac. I don't know exactly what you would call. I guess you would call them. Uh, they're basically like dry out spots. I mean, a lot of rehabs or halfway houses, depending on if you want to get into the program, will have you go to one of these places and kind of like dry out for a couple days. That way, you're not strung out. You're not so, you know, and also it kind of proves that you're willing. Um, and then after a couple days, at one of these places, they kind of give you a list of numbers, and you call them, and you kind of figure out, wait, which house do I want to go to? You know, which one has a place available, and then you go from there. And it's usually to a halfway house. Rehabs usually cost money, and I don't have, you know, obviously if you're homeless, you don't have money. Um, so on this occasion, after the couple days, they came up to a few of us and they said, hey, we're taking a few guys to this other house. You know, this, you know, state. I don't know if it's state sanctioned halfway houses for treatment. I'm assuming they're not. I don't know if the state has any kind of program for rehab. It seems like the state likes to use punitive measures instead of restorative measures. So I can't say this was a place that was run by the state, but when we got there, first of all, I live in Arizona, and when we got there, nobody spoke English, and I'm not biased against that. I actually find it impressive when I meet Spanish people who can speak English and Spanish. It's better than all I can do. I'm not bilingual. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, well, they speak English really badly. And it's like, yeah, but you don't understand. That's their second language. How, you know? Anyways. But obviously, it's hard to communicate when the guy who's running the place is only Spanish speaking. I mean, he could speak a little bit of English, but anyway, so we get there, and half the people who live there are drunk, and the other half are getting drunk in the backyard. And it seems like this place has been kind of overrun by the addicts. One of the first things they tell me, because there is actually, thank God, one of the people who lived there was a white person who could actually speak Spanish. And one of the rules they told me is that they don't believe in any of the outside programs like Straight Edge, AA. They solely believe that God can take away your problem, and that really what you need is, you know, to be entrenched into God and the Bible and Christianity. Baptist, to be specific. This place was run by a man who was Baptist. Um, and at the time, like I said, I was desperate. Not necessarily desperate. I didn't look at it that way, but I was willing to try anything. And I really didn't see a problem. I said, okay, let's do this whole God thing, right? Well, well, then they take me to this church that they go to, and this church is out in the desert. It's like it's in a neighborhood. It's not necessarily like out on a road. It's out in a neighborhood, and we go to this church, and I have never been in a church with such frightening fanaticism. It was it was scary. These people were loud. There's nothing wrong with that. They were the kind that put their hands in the air. Nothing wrong with that. Hey, you know, it takes all kinds. I'm sure that you've got to try a lot of things, I'm sure, to communicate with God. It's kind of ridiculous, but, you know, I don't have anything wrong with it. Then they started speaking in tongues, and just frightening faces and weird things that they were saying, and the whole group, it was really interesting to watch these addicts try at this church. And I mean, we're talking about people who were drinking earlier. So now they're drunk, they're at church, and they're trying, and they're acting ridiculous. But the people who were really there, who really believed in it, they were the really frightening ones, to me. You know, and I've heard that this is the same church that holds snakes, and obviously Southern Baptist is a, you know, you've got the West Baptist Church. They're pretty fanatical. This seems to be, at least from my one experience, and I realize that I had one experience and that this could be a fluke. I don't think it is, because I've seen other things, but it could be. But I think this is definitely the Southern, or Baptist seems to be the church that really gives Christianity a bad name. These are the ones that seem to somehow encompass every Christian out there. And I really feel bad for the ones who really are honestly saying, I'm seeking Jesus, I feel his love, and all I want to do is reciprocate that love. I don't see anything wrong with that. It might be a placebo effect, it might be real, but I don't see anything wrong with that. I think it's a positive thing. When churches like this come out and they take things directly from the Bible and they start thinking that God is speaking through them, literally through their mouths in different languages, that's when scary things start happening. That's when people start saying, you know, you have an addiction and you don't need to help yourself. God is the only one who can do it. And that's not true. Even if God was real, I think God would want you to work for it. You have to put some effort into it. God needs to see some effort, man. And maybe that's how God works through you. Needless to say, the next day, the guy who ran our house was gone. He had taken all of the money, because it does cost money to stay in these places. It's cheap, but usually like around $100 a week. But he had taken all the money, he had left, and we were forced to call the evac place again to see if we could find another place. But I just found it fascinating that I'm the one who, in this church, finds all this stuff weird, and I'm the one who's trying to get off drugs at the time. So yeah, that's my experience at Southern Baptist, or Baptist, I should say. I should stop saying Southern Baptist, because I'm not sure if it was Southern or not. I live in Arizona, so. But, yeah, so that's it. Like I said, I would love to hear what you guys say. If there's a person out there who does go to a Baptist church who thinks that I'm totally off the wall on this, you know, let me know. Put a comment down there. I'd also like to thank someone out there on the internet. I don't know if you want me to name you as your screen name or as your channel name, so I'm just going to name his channel name, which is Words. He was really kind to me when I made my Catholic confusion video. He was nice enough to retort to me in detail and actually send me references and videos to kind of explain my confusion on the whole saints being prayed to. So I really appreciate that, and he also subscribed, so obviously I will do my part, and I will put a link for his channel down here to subscribe to him. He does a lot of cool stuff, and his channel's a lot bigger than mine, so that's it, pretty much. Subscribe if you like this. There'll be more. I've had a lot of other experiences with different churches. Lutheran's going to be next. And it's probably not going to be that bad of a... I'm not going to say that much, I don't think, negative towards Lutheran, because I actually do find a lot of positive things in it. But yeah, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bohemian Atheist.